Most people don't ignore red flags, they negotiate with them. You feel something early, usually before anything objectively bad has even happened. A weird pause after they say something, the feeling you get rereading a message the second time, the way your body goes slightly alert when their tone changes, the moment you hear yourself explaining their behavior to your friends before anyone even asks you to. Part of you already knows, but another part immediately starts building the case against your own intuition. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe you're overthinking. Maybe you're expecting too much too early. So you keep going. And the danger isn't just that you lose time. It's that you slowly lose the version of yourself that knows how to relax inside connection without constantly checking whether something feels off. That's the part most people don't notice until much later. Because red flags rarely look dangerous at first. They look manageable. You notice they disappear for a day after getting emotionally close. You notice they only seem affectionate when things are easy. You notice every serious conversation somehow ends with you apologizing instead. Nothing feels extreme enough to leave over. So your brain starts doing what people do when they don't want the truth to be true. It starts collecting counter evidence. You focus harder on the good moments, the long phone call, the night they opened up emotionally, the version of them that shows up right after you've started pulling away. And honestly, sometimes that version is real too, huh? That's what makes this difficult. Because intuition usually isn't reacting to one moment. It's reacting to a pattern your conscious mind hasn't fully admitted yet. You can feel it in your behavior before you say it out loud. You start checking your phone differently, reading into response times, replaying conversations in the shower, feeling relieved when they text back instead of just happy. Your body starts acting anxious before your mind fully catches up. And after a while, the relationship quietly turns into emotional surveillance. You stop experiencing the connection naturally because part of you is always monitoring it now, watching for shifts, distance, changes in tone, signs that something feels off again. Stop for a second and think about the last time you reread a text 5 times. You weren't looking for a typo, you were looking for safety. That's usually the turning point, not when the relationship becomes unhealthy, when you stop feeling emotionally settled inside it. But we become monitors because we're afraid of the alternative. Because if you actually listen to your intuition, it might tell you something you don't want to hear. That this person keeps pulling away from you emotionally. That you're becoming more anxious around them, not calmer. That you've started managing your reactions carefully because part of you already expects the relationship to leave you emotionally off balance. A lot of people think intuition feels confident. Usually it doesn't. Usually intuition feels inconvenient. Because if you admit what you're noticing, you might have to disappoint yourself, walk away from potential, let go of the future version of the relationship you've already started building in your head. So instead, people negotiate. They lower the standard a little, explain things away a little faster, stay one more month, ignore one more comment that sat wrong in their chest longer than it should have. And slowly, they stop trusting themselves. That's the part that actually does the damage. Not just staying too long, training yourself to override your own internal signals every time they become emotionally inconvenient. You can watch this happen in real time sometimes. Someone says something subtly disrespectful, and you laugh it off half a second too late. They cancel plans again, and you immediately say, "It's okay," before you've even checked whether it actually is. You start rehearsing conversations in the car before seeing them, because part of you already expects the interaction to leave you emotionally unsettled. After a while, your body starts bracing before the relationship even has a chance to hurt you. That's usually when people become emotionally tired. Not because love is exhausting, because self-betrayal is. And honestly, a lot of emotionally intelligent people stay in bad situations longer than you'd expect. Because they can understand everyone. They can see the fear underneath the behavior. The part of someone that's always pulling away, avoiding closeness, keeping one foot outside the relationship emotionally. And sometimes they become so understanding that they accidentally start using empathy to argue against their own intuition. That's a hard trap to notice while it's happening, because understanding somebody isn't the same thing as feeling safe with them. Those are different experiences. Some people respond to this by becoming colder afterward, more guarded, more suspicious. They stop opening up quickly, start treating every new relationship like a potential threat. Other people slowly start reconnecting to something simpler. They stop arguing against their own reactions so quickly. They pay attention to how their body feels after conversations, whether they feel calmer or more confused, whether they feel emotionally open around someone or emotionally careful. Nothing dramatic, just smaller moments of honesty with themselves. You see it in little behaviors. Taking longer before explaining away something that hurt. letting silence sit after a strange interaction instead of instantly rationalizing it, telling a friend what actually happened without editing the story to make the other person look better. Why eventually you realize intuition usually isn't loud because it's trying to control you. It's quiet because it's trying to protect your participation in life before you slowly disappear inside the wrong relationship. That's the deeper cost people don't notice right away. The wrong relationship doesn't just waste time, it changes how openly you move through the world. You become more hesitant, more emotionally rehearsed, less playful, less trusting of your own perception. You stop fully relaxing inside connection because part of you remembers what it felt like to ignore yourself for too long. And the strange part is, most people knew much earlier than they admit later. Not everything, not the whole ending, but enough. Enough to feel the hesitation, enough to notice the inconsistency, enough to recognize the moment they started explaining things to themselves more than the other person was explaining them. You don't need perfection to trust yourself. You don't need proof beyond all doubt. Sometimes your body noticing the same thing repeatedly is already information. And usually, when people start trusting themselves again, it doesn't look dramatic. They leave conversations still listening to themselves instead of immediately trying to reinterpret what they felt. They stop forcing potential to matter more than reality. They stop treating discomfort like a flaw in themselves that needs to be managed away. And slowly, dating starts feeling less like emotional investigation and more like participation again. Less monitoring, less bracing, less trying to convince yourself something feels safe after your body already told you it doesn't. Because the red flag wasn't what they did, it was how quickly you started arguing against yourself to make it okay.